Hey there. I know that many of you are in English classes, but all you want to do all day is watch Netflix or game. You don't want to read anything. And I hear you. And sometimes it can even be a little bit difficult to go onto SparkNotes and copy the stuff they have on there. And you might feel a little bit guilty watching this stream right now instead of doing your schoolwork, like reading. So, I've got the solution for you. I have read a book, and I'm going to summarize it for you, and I'm going to give you the best talking points so it looks like you're participating in class. Around this time, I know that Kugler's Historical Perspectives class is reading this book, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the original 1818 text. Honestly, this text is thicko mode, so it's going to be a little bit of work to get through it. Fortunately, I have the solution. I've read through this entire thing in one day. Just one day it took me. Because I am a speed reader, and I will tell you the secrets of this book. Okay, so what's the deal? First of all, don't watch the movie, because it's nothing like the book. Who would make a movie that's not like the book? So basically, this book doesn't start with Frankenstein. It starts on a ship. Yeah, well, no. Actually, it starts in a town where this woman receives a letter from a guy on a ship, and the guy on a ship hears a story from a guy who tells the story about when he was in medical school and then dropped out. Anyway, that's basically the plot. This guy, his name is Victor. He's not a doctor. His name is Victor Frankenstein, and he makes a person. We don't know how he does it. He digs up bones. He goes to slaughterhouses. It's kind of weird. Here's the thing. People often pedantically say that Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. However, if you want to be even more pedantic and score even more points with Kugler, here's what you gotta say. Actually, Frankenstein wasn't even a doctor. He dropped out of medical school because he was depressed. You'll score a lot of points with that one, I promise. Here's another thing about Frankenstein. He speaks French. So does the monster. You imagine the monster being all ugly, but then speaking a language like French, which is even uglier, and you're like, makes a lot of sense. Okay, on to themes. I scoured through this book, and here's the thing about it. It doesn't really have any themes. So, if Kugler asks you, hey, what does this say about society? The answer is absolutely nothing. Mary Shelley just wrote it for fun. Actually, here's a fun secret about everything. All fiction has no themes and is just for fun. Anyone who says that there are themes is trying to grade you about something. Alright, now here are some quotes that you can use in your essays and bring up in class discussions and things like that. It'll make you seem really smart. On page 23, Victor's dad says, "My dear Victor, do not waste your time upon this. It is sad trash." This is an example of intertextuality. This is when one text references another text or something in real life. It's kind of a postmodern concept. It's pretty cool. The quote here is intertextual because it is referring to a real-life object. That object is me, because I am sad trash. Another thing that the film gets wrong is that it depicts Frankenstein as slow. Actually, Frankenstein is the second fastest character in fiction after Sonic the Hedgehog. Here's a quote from page 122. "I saw him descend the mountain with greater speed than the flight of an eagle." The monster is very fast and will catch you in your sleep tonight. Also, on page 123, Victor says, "But I cannot describe to you how the eternal twinkling of the stars weighed upon me." Victor says this because he is emo. Again, on page 111, Victor references the stars when he says, "The cold stars shone in mockery." This is scientifically inaccurate because stars are actually hot. This is another example of how people of the past were dumber than people are today. They thought that stars were cold back then, but actually using science and technology and things like atheism, we know that stars are hot. On page 74, Mary Shelley also uses pallid. Only 2 instances of the word pallid have ever been recorded. One of them was in a weird poem about a crow.
The pallid bust of Pallas in the Raven.
Ah, I was right. Another thing about this book is that people write letters to each other a lot. This is because texting was very bad and unreliable back then. Texts were like $2 a piece, so that's why they wrote each other. Another point of pedantry. The monster is never called Frankenstein's monster in here. It's usually called the demon, or the creature, or the abomination. That is because people in the past were racist. Overall, I say I would rate this book about a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was pretty exciting, but there are a lot of words that I didn't know, and looking them up in the dictionary was just like too much effort. Anyway, if you bring those points up to Kugler, I think he will super appreciate what you've brought to class, and you don't even have to think about it yourself. That's all for today. Keep reading, or actually don't. I'll just read all the books for you. Email me books that you want me to read, and I'll read them, if I already have them.